Okay, let's kick this off. Think about this for a second. How many times, just today, have you reached for your phone to message someone? Could be a friend nearby, family across the globe, maybe even a local shop you deal with. For literally billions of people, that immediate connection point, it's one single app.
It really is staggering when you think about the scale.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving deep into today. WhatsApp. Now, this isn't just, a quick look at a messaging app. We're talking about a global powerhouse. Estimates for 2025 put it at over 2.7 billion users worldwide. That's huge. It's deeply woven into how we live socially and economically.
Absolutely. It's become fundamental infrastructure in many places.
So our mission here is to trace WhatsApp's journey. It has surprisingly humble beginnings, didn't it? We want to track how it got to this indispensable role it plays now.
Hmm.
We'll pull out the key insights, maybe some surprising facts, and really try to understand its impact on connection.
And what's fascinating, I think, is how something that feels so simple on the surface achieves such massive universal adoption. You probably use it every day, right? But the story behind it, well, it's probably not what you'd expect. We're going to explore how it went from a, frankly, niche idea to this essential piece of global communication.
Okay, so let's start there. WhatsApp wasn't born as this messaging giant we know.
Yeah.
What was that very first idea, and what led Jan Koum and Brian Acton, these two former Yahoo guys, down that path?
Right. It's quite the origin story. They founded it back in 2009. And initially, it was just meant to be a simple status update tool. Seriously. The whole concept was just to show your contacts if you were, say, at the gym or maybe battery low. It was really more about presence, letting people know your status, not really about chatting back and forth.
Huh. So less conversation, more like a digital away message, almost. It's pretty wild to think that was a seed for what it is today, a global giant from a sticky note app.
Yeah.
But okay, this simple start was just stage setting, because that same year, 2009, something big happened tech-wise. Apple introduced push notifications with iOS 3.0. How did that specific update change everything for WhatsApp?
Ah, that was the pivot point. Absolutely crucial. Those push notifications, they basically allowed Jan Koum to see a different potential. He could turn it into a real-time messaging app, and it caught on fast because it offered something pretty different at the time. It was ad-free, very no-frills, and had this privacy-focused feel right from the start.
Right, and that's key. Compared to old-school SMS texting, WhatsApp used internet data, which meant no per-message fees. That wasn't just about saving a few cents here and there, was it? It feels much bigger.
Oh, much bigger. It fundamentally changed the economics of communication for millions, maybe billions, especially in markets where texting costs were high, or for people connecting internationally. It basically filled a gap that the big telecom companies hadn't really addressed, offering fast, simple, reliable messaging over data.
It democratized it, in a way, lowered the barrier for so many people.
Exactly. And that core value proposition just fueled explosive growth. Even in the early days when it wasn't entirely free. I remember it was paid on iOS initially, and then like $1 a year on Android, which they said was more about cutting down spam than actually making money. But even with that small fee, it grew incredibly quickly.
The numbers are pretty staggering when you look back. You said 200 million users in 2013, then jumped just 1 year, early 2014, and it's 450 million.
That's right.
And by 2020, it had blown past the 2 billion mark. That kind of
Oh.
steep curve, well, it gets noticed. Big time.
It certainly did. And that notice culminated in, well, one of the biggest tech acquisitions ever. Facebook, which we now know as Meta, stepped in. They bought WhatsApp in 2014 for, wait for it, $19 billion.
$19 billion. It still sounds incredible. And that wasn't just buying what they had already built. That acquisition seemed to turbocharge things further.
Absolutely. Under Facebook or Meta, the growth accelerated even more, especially in key regions. Think India, Brazil, Nigeria, Indonesia, Mexico. In many parts of the world, it just became the default way to communicate. It wasn't just an app, it was the app.
So ingrained in daily life.
Totally. And a lot of that sticking power, I think, comes down to its design philosophy. You could call it user-centric minimalism. Unlike some competitors who seem to throw every possible feature in the wall, WhatsApp was always more deliberate. They focused ruthlessly on doing one thing really, really well. Simple, reliable messaging.
That makes sense. Less clutter, easier to use, especially if you're maybe new to smartphones or dealing with shaky internet.
Yeah.
Builds trust through just working.
Precisely. It reduced friction significantly.
Okay, so it started simple. But obviously it didn't stay that simple. It evolved into the platform we know now with lots more features. How did that happen? Let's trace some of those key milestones. Voice messaging in 2013. That feels like a big one.
Oh, huge, especially in cultures or contexts where typing isn't as common or easy as speaking. It really changed the dynamic of chats for a lot of people. Then came voice and video calling, rolling out around 2015, 2016. Suddenly, you had high quality calls over Wi Fi or data globally. Pretty revolutionary for many.
And then maybe the feature it's most known for, certainly from a privacy angle, end-to-end encryption in 2016.
Yes, a landmark move. They partnered with Open Whisper Systems, the folks behind Signal, another very respected privacy app, and they made end-to-end encryption the default for everything, all messages, calls, photos, that commitment to privacy being defaulted on.
How much do you think that built user trust compared to other platforms? Well, massively. I mean, it had to be a huge factor, especially as people started becoming more aware of data privacy issues online. It set them apart. Then, let's see, 2017 brought status updates, kind of their take on the stories format from Snapchat and Instagram.
Right. And they also expanded beyond the phone itself. WhatsApp web and desktop versions appeared. And more recently, the multi-device support, starting around 2022. That was a big deal, using WhatsApp on your computer or tablet, even if your phone was offline.
Yeah, that was a long-awaited feature for many. And lately, there's been a move towards more organization, communities in 2022-23 for managing larger groups like schools or clubs.
Exactly. More structured group management. And then WhatsApp channels in 2023. That feels like a direct move into the broadcast space, competing more with platforms like Telegram.
Right, for creators or organizations to push out updates. And looking right up to the present, 2024 seems to be about AI chatbots and more commerce tools, integrating business features, letting companies automate interactions, even sell things directly in the app.
Which smoothly brings us to WhatsApp's incredible global footprint. You mentioned India earlier, over 500 million users there alone. It's dominant across Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia.
What really drove that almost universal adoption? What were the key factors?
Well, we touched on some already. The low cost using data instead of SMS fees, that's huge. Cross-platform compatibility is critical. It just works, whether you have an iPhone or an Android, cheap or expensive, good multilingual support, and fundamentally, the ease of use for group chats, sharing photos, voice notes, documents. It just made digital communication very accessible.
It's interesting when you compare it to competitors. iMessage is locked into Apple devices.
Yeah.
WeChat is dominant in China, but not really elsewhere. Telegram has its fans, particularly for its open platform features. Signal for its hardcore privacy focus. Facebook Messenger is tied to Facebook itself. But none of them seem to have that same combination of just simple, works everywhere, and is culturally embedded globally like WhatsApp.
That's a good summary. It found this sweet spot, and that very ubiquity naturally paved the way for its move into business. They saw how many small businesses were already using the personal app informally. So in 2018, they launched WhatsApp Business.
The free app, right? Tailored for smaller operations. What does that initially offer them?
The essentials, really. Things like a proper business profile so you looked legitimate, automated greeting messages, catalogs to show off products or services easily, and quick replies to handle common questions faster. Basic but effective tools.
Okay, but then they went further for bigger companies.
Right, with the WhatsApp Business API. This was for medium and large businesses. It allowed much deeper integration, connecting WhatsApp to their existing CRM systems, customer relationship management software, automating things like FAQs, sending order confirmations, shipping updates, even sending promotional messages, though crucially, only with explicit user opt-in.
So it became a serious channel for customer interaction, not just chat, but actual business processes. You see it everywhere now, right? E-commerce, using it for support, banks for alerts, travel companies for booking confirmations. It's become a really core part of customer service and even marketing for many brands.
Definitely. But, achieving that kind of scale,
Yeah.
it doesn't come without its problems, its challenges. No tech platform this big avoids scrutiny or controversy. WhatsApp is certainly no exception.
That's true. We've definitely seen major concerns around disinformation spreading on the platform, particularly during elections or sensitive times at places like India and Brazil. It's been a huge issue.
A massive challenge. And then there's the constant push-pull over encryption. Governments regularly pressure them for ways to access encrypted messages, citing national security concerns. It's an ongoing debate.
And remember the uproar in 2021 over the Terms of Service update. There was so much confusion and concern about data sharing with Facebook, with Meta.
Yes, that caused a significant backlash, even if the actual changes were perhaps misunderstood by many. Plus, you have the everyday problems of platform abuse. Spam, scams, phishing attempts are constantly evolving and trying to exploit the user base. And underneath it all, there's always the pressure from Meta to, well, monetize the platform more effectively, which always raises questions about whether that ad-free experience can last forever.
It's a lot of challenges. Yet, despite all that, user trust seems to have held up remarkably well, relatively speaking. That end-to-end encryption and their public stance on privacy must be a big part of why.
I think so. That commitment, stated repeatedly, has been key. And looking forward, the future path for WhatsApp seems pretty clearly signposted. It's really about commerce, AI, and deeper integration within that wider Meta ecosystem.
Okay, so what does that mean practically? What might we see more of?
Well, expect more AI integration. AI-powered assistance, maybe, helping businesses with customer support or providing users with e-commerce recommendations directly in chat. Deeper links with other Meta platforms, think Instagram Shops, Facebook Marketplace, connecting business pages more seamlessly, and more advanced commerce tools. The idea is to enable the entire shopping journey, from discovery to purchase and support, all without leaving WhatsApp.
And payments, right? WhatsApp Pay is already live in some major markets like India and Brazil. Expanding that seems logical.
Absolutely. Making payments frictionless within the app is a huge potential revenue stream and utility driver. We'll also likely see more granular controls, better ways to manage large groups or communities, more privacy settings, maybe more customization as our digital lives get more complex.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, it's clear WhatsApp is far more than just a way to send messages now. It really functions as a kind of social infrastructure, particularly in parts of the world where other digital tools might be less accessible or more expensive. It connects people, yes, but it also powers businesses, spreads information for better and for worse, and it's constantly adapting.
Yeah, what's really striking is that understanding WhatsApp, its history, how it's built its influence, is actually pretty crucial to understanding digital communication itself in the 21st century. Its impact is that profound.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on as we finish up. Consider this, an app that started just to show a simple status like can't talk, WhatsApp only, has evolved into a platform that underpins entire economies and fundamentally shapes how billions of us interact every single day. What does it really mean when one single privately owned app becomes such basic global infrastructure? And how might its next evolution change our daily lives in ways we haven't even started to think about yet?